Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a knockout punch by Prime Minister Narendra Modi ahead of the 2024 Mahabharat. The Prime Minister has vanquished all the opposition, leaving behind a trail of some disgruntled dynasts, as he called them, and darbaris of the India alliance. For the first time ever, the Prime Minister has backed his confidence of a तीसरी बार Modi Sarkar with hard numbers and projections. For the first time, the Prime Minister has projected that the Saffron Party will win 370 seats alone. He goes on to say that the NDA will win over 400. Ab ki baar 400 par. That was what the Prime Minister said. Amidst chants of Ab ki baar 400 par from the Treasury benches, Prime Minister Modi wrote that even the opposition has now conceded it in an oblique reference to Mallikarjun Kharge's comment just last week. The Prime Minister also crushed the ragtag army of opposition alliance parties, saying that the alignment of the alliance is already out of sync. This is in reference to failed seat-sharing talks in Bengal, Delhi and Punjab, and the rift between the alliance partners over the Bharat Jodo Yatra from Bengal to Uttar Pradesh to Jharkhand. He even mocked them, saying that the public will ensure that they will be relegated to the visitors' gallery in the parliament very soon. But the most scathing and critical attacks were reserved for the Gandhi Parivar. Blaming Parivarvad for the downfall of the party and the nation, Prime Minister accused Congress of trying to relaunch dynasts at the cost of other capable regional satraps. Listen in and you, the viewers, decide for yourself. Can the opposition recover from this blistering body blow by the Prime Minister?
अब हमारी सरकार का तीसरा कार्यकाल भी बहुत दूर नहीं है। ज्यादा से ज्यादा 100-125 दिन बाकी है और अब की बार पूरा देश कह रहा है, अब की बार खड़गे जी भी कह रहे हैं, एनडीए को तो 400 पार कर पाई के रहेगा, लेकिन भारतीय जनता पार्टी को 370 सीट अवश्य देगा। मैं विशेष रूप से विपक्ष ने जो संकल्प लिया है उसकी सराहना करता हूं। उनके भाषण के एक एक बात से मेरा और देश का विश्वास पक्का हो गया है कि इन्होंने लंबे अरसे तक वहां रहने का संकल्प लिया। जैसे यहां बैठे थे वैसे ही कई दशक तक वहां बैठने का आपका संकल्प, और जनता जनार्दन तो ईश्वर का रूप होती है। आप जिस ऊंचाई पे हैं उससे भी अधिक ऊंचाई पर जरूर पहुंचेंगे और अगले चुनाव में दर्शक दिशा में दिखेंगे। कांग्रेस के लोगों ने नया नया मोटर मैकेनिक का काम सीखा है और इसलिए अलाइनमेंट क्या होता है उसका ज्ञान तो हो गया होगा, लेकिन मैं देख रहा हूं अलायंस का ही अलाइनमेंट बिगड़ गया। एक ही प्रोडक्ट बार बार लॉन्च करने के चक्कर में कांग्रेस की दुकान ताला लगने की नौबत आ गई है। हम परिवारवाद की चर्चा वो करते हैं जो पार्टी परिवार चलाता है, जो पार्टी परिवार के लोगों को प्राथमिकता देती है, जो पार्टी के सारे निर्णय परिवार के लोग ही करते हैं, वो परिवारवाद है।
Prime Minister also reminded the nation that Jawaharlal Nehru had chided Indians as being lazy and weak. This was in reference to the 15th August 1959 speech by the then Prime Minister Nehru. Listen in to what Nehru had said and then listen in to how the Prime Minister slammed this conclusion about the Indian psyche.
हिंदुस्तान में काफी मेहनत करने की आदत आम तौर से नहीं हुई। हमारा कसूर नहीं, आदतें ऐसी पड़ जाती हैं वाकयात से, लेकिन बात यह है कि हम उतना काम नहीं करते जितना कि यूरोप वाले या जापान वाले या चीन वाले या रूस वाले कहीं करते या अमेरिका वाले। ये न समझिए कि वो कौमें खुशहाल हो गई कोई जादू से, मेहनत से हुई है और अकल से हुई है।
ध्वनि संग्रहालय की
तो हम भी मेहनत और अकल से बढ़ सकते हैं, कोई और चारा नहीं।
यानी नेहरू जी की भारतीयों के प्रति सोच थी कि भारतीय आलसी है। नेहरू जी की भारतीयों के लिए सोच थी कि भारतीय कम अक्ल के लोग होते हैं। कांग्रेस के शाही परिवार के लोग मेरे देश के लोगों को ऐसा ही समझते थे, उनके विषय में ऐसे ही सोचते। और आज भी वही सोच देखने को मिलती है।
The opposition, especially the Congress, of course, is fuming and frothing. They've attacked the Prime Minister for his bitterness and arrogance against the Vipaksh and reject what they call Modi's election speech. Listen in to the detractors.
सपना देखने का हक है उनका, देखें 2 महीने में सपना टूटेगा, फिर हम मिलेंगे इनसे। ये सुबह से शाम तक जो व्यक्ति अपनी रिपोर्ट कार्ड नहीं दे सकता और हमारी निंदा करता है, जनता भी समझती है काठ की हांडी कितनी बार चढ़ेगी।
एक ही भाषण दे चुके हैं, नामदार कामदार कितने बार बोलेंगे। नेहरू जी का देहांत होके 60 साल हो गया, फिर भी उसी गीत गाते रहेंगे। ये क्या हो गया मोदी जी को? मेरे ख्याल में वो जरा सा और कुछ फ्रेश ऊर्जा की जरूरत है, क्योंकि आज के भाषण बहुत विफल रहा।
प्रधानमंत्री जी ने अपने वक्तव्य में जो कटुता और जो अहंकार व्यक्त किया, इससे मुझे राहुल गांधी जी की सदन में कही हुई एक बात याद आती है कि रावण को उसके अहंकार ने ही हराया, और यही बात आज सदन में दिखाई दी।
शुभेंदु अधिकारी, he is in Delhi meeting with Amit Shah. CBI FIR named. BJP released his video and now he is in BJP. From Bengal to Assam, Karnataka to other states, all the corrupted public, they are with BJP.
So the legitimate question on the NewsHour that we are asking is, has Prime Minister Narendra Modi vanquished I.N.D.I.A alliance even before the polls? That's the question and that's the debate coming up on the other side.
You're watching the NewsHour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Joining the debate tonight, Shehzad Poonawalla, national spokesperson of the BJP. Also joining me tonight is Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author and scientist, Suhail Seth, columnist and marketing guru, Anurag Bhadoria, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, Tausif Ahmed Khan, political analyst, supports the Trinamool Congress. But my first question goes to Sanjay Jha, author and suspended Congress leader. And Sanjay Jha, वो हिंदी में कहावत है ना, चारों खाने चित. Prime Minister spoke on the floor of the House, statements that go on the record of the House. And he's not inexperienced when he makes a statement that BJP 370 and NDA 400 par. Clearly, he's not a novice at this game. Is the election over even before the opposition has started to decide their strategy? Because you've not been able to meet, you've not been able to decide your seat sharing. Each alliance partner is angry with Rahul Gandhi for not informing them even before the Bharat Jodo Nyaya Yatra enters their state. So, frankly, Is it over before it started?
Navika, good evening. I believe that any political leader, not just Mr. Modi, any political leader who starts making predictions or prognostications about what the public is going to do is actually disrespecting democracy. This is a manifestation of arrogance of the highest order. And I'll give you an example of that. Through your very popular program, Navika, I hope the Prime Minister is aware of what has been said by the Chief Justice of India, Mr. Chandrachud, Honorable Chief Justice Chandrachud, on the big fraud what that was committed in the Chandigarh mayoral elections. And these are the words of the Chief Justice of India, and we all know which party was playing havoc out there. And I quote the Chief Justice of India: "It is obvious that the presiding officer defaced the ballot papers. And is this the way you conduct elections? This is a mockery of democracy. This is a murder of democracy." This is a Chief Justice of India of the Supreme Court commenting on the fraud that was caught on camera. And the people of India should look at that video again and again. I would like to request through your channel to India's Prime Minister, Mr. Modi. Modi ji, when are you going to make a comment on it? आप इस पर कब अपनी बयानबाजी करेंगे मोदी जी? आप इस पर कब अपनी टिप्पणी करेंगे? कब आप ट्वीट लिखेंगे? क्योंकि ये तो भारत के उच्चतम न्यायालय के चीफ जस्टिस ने ये टिप्पणी की है और आपकी पार्टी चंडीगढ़ में इसी तरीके से मेयर बनने की कोशिश की. I think you know something, Navika, at the end of the day, what is a Modi ki guarantee? I'll tell you that. Modi ki guarantee is a record unemployment. Modi ki guarantee is high inflation. Modi ki guarantee is the abuse of power of the ED and the CBI and the income tax. Modi ki guarantee is Operation Lotus. Modi ki guarantee is an electoral bond where the government has told the Supreme Court that we, the people of India, are not obliged to know which corporate or individual funds a political party. Is it not a mockery of democracy? I mean, the Prime Minister talks of corruption.
I don't know. You call it a mockery of democracy. Well, Shehzad Poonawalla will answer. But on certain specific issues that you mentioned, let me give you the statistics. And statistics are important simply because if I look at capital expenditure, which is investments into public projects, infrastructure, then Modi has increased in the last 10 years, 433% in the last 10 years. The UPA's growth was possibly 72% in the 10 years that they were in power, from 2004 to 2014. 2014 to 2024 has been 433%. Hold on. Then 1 minute, let me complete. Unemployment figures, NDA 7.3% unemployment, UPA 8.1. Despite COVID, the unemployment number is lower for the NDA 10-year period compared to the UPA 10-year period. Now let me tell you FDI inflows. Again here, despite COVID, NDA stands at 1.5% of GDP while UPA was 1.2% of GDP. NDA is still better. Forex reserves. NDA has, I think, double the amount of forex reserves than the UPA had in its time. And as far as inflation is concerned, numbers tell you the story. The numbers for inflation, we all know what the inflation rates in double digits were when the UPA left power. We all know what the Supreme Court said on various cases, including cancellation of telecom licenses, calling the CBI a caged parrot. So Sanjay Jha, you know, when you make your charges, I think the opposition needs to research it better, because this is not a man who's going to let it go past him without responding. Shehzad Poonawalla, please respond. Please respond to Sanjay Jha.
And please add crony capitalism to the list of items.
First of all, Navika, I want to...
Oh, please.
Navika, if I may, since you've called my name, and I hope I will be heard as patiently as I gave the other panelists the patient hearing. नाविका, सबसे पहले तो मुझे आज बहुत खुशी है कि संजय झा जी ने जो शुरुआती टिप्पणियां की, कम से कम आज के बाद सुप्रीम कोर्ट कॉम्प्रोमाइज है, डेमोक्रेसी इज डेड, ये कहने का अवसर अब संजय झा के पास नहीं बचता, क्योंकि अभी अभी उन्होंने चीफ जस्टिस की सारी टिप्पणियां गिनवाई है। और अगर चीफ जस्टिस की ये टिप्पणियां गिनवाई है, जब 3 तलाक का फैसला आया तो उसको भी स्वीकारो, राम मंदिर का फैसला आया उसको भी स्वीकारो, 2002 में जो क्लीन चिट मिली सुप्रीम कोर्ट के द्वारा उसको भी स्वीकारो, और जिस प्रकार से ईडी की कार्रवाई को बिल्कुल सही कहा जब 14 पार्टियां सुप्रीम कोर्ट गई थी, उसको भी स्वीकारो। उसमें मत कहो कि कोर्ट कॉम्प्रोमाइज है, जुडिशरी इज सोल्ड आउट, जुडिशरी हैज बीन कॉम्प्रोमाइज अंडर मोदी। अब यह कहने का अवसर नहीं बचता है संजय झा के पास, पहली बात। दूसरी बात मैं बोलना चाहता हूं, मोदी की गारंटी मतलब 25 करोड़ लोगों को गरीबी से निकालने की गारंटी। मोदी की गारंटी मतलब कि 12 करोड़ लोगों के घर पे नल से जल पहुंचाने की गारंटी। मोदी की गारंटी मतलब 12 करोड़ लोगों तक शौचालय पहुंचाने की गारंटी। शिल्पा हो या सुल्ताना, मोदी की गारंटी मतलब 70 एयरपोर्ट बनाने की गारंटी। मोदी की गारंटी मतलब हाईवे दुगने रफ्तार से बनाने की गारंटी, पर कैपिटा इनकम दुगनी करने की गारंटी, 10वें से 5वें स्थान पर जाने की गारंटी, G20 जैसा आयोजन करने की गारंटी, चंद्रयान के दक्षिणी ध्रुव पर पहुंचने की गारंटी। यह है मोदी की गारंटी, और आपकी है नौटंकी। इसीलिए ये नौटंकी बनाम गारंटी है। और एक वर्सेस है, वर्सेस तो ये है कि आज देखे प्रधानमंत्री ने जो निर्णय डिसीजंस लिए वो बताए, जो मिशन पूरा किया वो बताया, और जो विजन है आगे का 1000 सालों के लिए वो बताया। और दूसरी ओर क्या है, दूसरी ओर देखिए क्या है, कंफ्यूजन, कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन, डायनेस्टी का प्रोफेशन मतलब फैमिली रन प्रोफेशन, और अपना अपना एम्बिशन। और इसीलिए देश की जनता ने तय किया है कि इस बार डिसीजन, मिशन और विजन वालों को वोट मिलने वाला है, ना कि ये कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन और एम्बिशन वाले। मैं केवल 2-3 सवाल पूछना चाहता हूं। अब आपने सुप्रीम कोर्ट को हेल किया ना, इसी सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने 338 करोड़ का घोटाला बताया है और कहा है कि मनीष सिसोदिया जेल में सही है, और शराब घोटाला हुआ है, क्या उसको मानते हैं क्या? इसी सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा है कि 3 तलाक का कानून जो किया है वो बिल्कुल सही किया है और वो होना चाहिए, उसको मानते हैं क्या? और इसी सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा है कि भव्य राम मंदिर बनना चाहिए, क्या उसको मानते हैं? तो जिन लोगों ने राम मंदिर को अवॉइड किया और कहा कि ये बीजेपी आरएसएस का इवेंट है, जबकि ये ट्रस्ट सुप्रीम कोर्ट की देखरेख में बना था, तो मानते हैं कि उन लोगों ने केवल तुष्टिकरण की राजनीति के लिए किया? और नाविका आखिरी टिप्पणी देखिए, एक तरफ से तो आप देखेंगे तो 22 जनवरी को क्या हुआ, राम मंदिर की प्राण प्रतिष्ठा हुई, रामकाज। उसके बाद 24 तारीख को गरीब काज कर्पूरी ठाकुर जी को भारत रत्न से नवाजा गया। उसके बाद 26 जनवरी राष्ट्र काज। उसके बाद 1 फरवरी जिसमें कि विकास काज, क्योंकि बजट प्रस्तुत किया निर्मला जी ने। और आज आप देखिए कि इंडिया अलायंस के पास नो कामकाज, ये बिना कामकाज के घूम रहे हैं, अलाइनमेंट बिगड़ा हुआ है, और न्याय यात्रा कम बाय बाय यात्रा शुरू ज्यादा हो चुकी है। इसीलिए एक तरफ तो राम मंदिर का निर्माण हो रहा है और दूसरी तरफ इंडी गठबंधन के ढांचे को कहीं बंगाल से लात मार रहा है, कोई महाराष्ट्र से मीनारे खींच रहा है, कोई पंजाब में ध्वस्त कर रहा है। इनको पूछिए ना कि ये कहते डेमोक्रेसी बचाओ, अरे बंगाल में आप कहते राष्ट्रपति शासन।
अनुराग भदौरिया जी से मेरा सवाल है,
केरला में अनुराग भदौरिया विजन इज थ्रेट टू डेमोक्रेसी।
Absolutely, and that is my question to अनुराग भदौरिया जी। अनुराग भदौरिया जी, अब मोदी से लड़ना है, आपका पूरा हक है कि लड़ना चाहिए, पर लड़ाई की तैयारी जो है वो इस तरह होती है क्या कि सीट शेयरिंग पता नहीं, कौन किस राज्य में जा रहा है अपना भारत जोड़ो यात्रा लेकर पता नहीं, ममता जी को नहीं पता, अखिलेश जी को नहीं पता, कोई किसी को बुलाता नहीं है। लड़िए, मोदी जी से भी लड़िए, लेकिन लड़ने के लिए जो आपने एक बड़ी सी आगे की आर्मी है, आधे इस तरफ गए, आधे उस तरफ गए, बाकी पीछे आ रहे हैं। तो अनुराग भदौरिया जी लड़ेंगे कैसे? यहां तो 400 पार हो गया।
देखिए, सवाल ये नहीं है। आज बहुत अच्छी बात है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी के प्रवक्ता ने खुद इस बात को एक्सेप्ट कर लिया कि नौटंकी जो भारतीय जनता पार्टी के बनाम गारंटी, तो बीजेपी की नौटंकी है। अब नौटंकी कैसे देखिए आप, किसे नौटंकी कर रहे हैं? किसानों की बात करते थे, किसानों को सपना दिया था, किसान के लिए काला कानून लेके कौन आया था, उसके बारे में तो चर्चा नहीं हुई। कितने किसानों की मौतें हुई जब वो कानून वापस हुआ। उनके रास्ते में कील कांटे भी बिछाए गए थे, उनको खालिस्तानी पाकिस्तानी बोला गया था, अन्नदाता को क्या क्या नहीं बोला गया था, उसके बारे में तो कहीं बात नहीं होगी। जैसे मेरे साथी ने अभी बताया कि चंडीगढ़ में जिस तरह से मेयर का चुनाव जीता गया और ऑन कैमरा देखा गया, और देश के चीफ जस्टिस साहब ने बोला कि ये लोकतंत्र की हत्या है, इससे ज्यादा तो नहीं हो सकता कि लोकतंत्र की हत्या बोला गया हो। इसमें कोई शब्द नहीं आया, कहीं कोई बात नहीं आई। जहां तक युवाओं की बात है, अग्निवीर तो बेचारे किस तरह से प्रदर्शन कर रहे हैं, रोडों पे हैं, कब उनके बारे में चर्चा होगी? अग्निवीर तो हल्ला मचा रहे हैं बेचारे, कभी कभी मैंने अपने कपड़े निर्वस्त्र होके वो वहां पे धरना दे रहे हैं, लेकिन उनकी तो बात नहीं होगी। महिलाओं की बात कर लो आप, तो महिलाओं के साथ जो अन्याय हुआ, चाहे बीएचयू की घटना हुई हो, तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी के आईटी सेल के नेता पाए गए। और जिस तरह से दिल्ली के अंदर में जो हमारी पहलवान महिलाएं जिस तरह से रोड पे घसीटी गई, ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार है, इसमें तो कोई चर्चा में देखने को नहीं मिली। अगर आप जाएंगे, किसान की इनकम दोगुनी तो छोड़ दीजिए, लागत का मूल्य नहीं मिल रहा है उनको, उसके बारे में कब चर्चा होगी? तो सवाल ये उठता है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी मुद्दों पे चर्चा ही नहीं करना चाहती है। और मजेदार बात है कि विपक्ष की बात करती है। देखिए नाविका जी, पहली बार हिंदुस्तान में ऐसा हो रहा है कि सत्ता पक्ष से कोई सवाल ही नहीं है, सारा सवाल विपक्ष से है। सत्ता पक्ष में, सत्ता जो बीजेपी सत्ता में, उनसे पूछा ही नहीं जा रहा महंगाई का हाल क्या है, बेरोजगारी का हाल क्या है, कैसे किसान परेशान है, युवा परेशान है, उसके बारे में चर्चा ही नहीं है।
फेयर पॉइंट,
लेकिन
फेयर पॉइंट, बट लेट मी गेट द आर्ग्यूमेंट टू दिस। एंड डॉक्टर आनंद रंगनाथन, माय क्वेश्चन टू यू इज, अनुराग भदौरिया जी कह रहे हैं कि विपक्ष से सवाल पूछे जाते हैं, सरकार से कोई नहीं पूछता।
एक लास्ट,
अनुराग जी आप भी यही हैं, मैं भी यही हूँ। आनंद रंगनाथन, नहीं मैं बोला
विपक्ष को एक सेकंड दे दीजिए, विपक्ष को दे दीजिए। अरे आप सत्ता पक्ष को दे रही, विपक्ष को एक सेकंड में क्या दिक्कत हो जाएगी? इतना तो आप कर सकते हैं ना, देश की बड़ी पत्रकार है आप, विपक्ष का सम्मान और तो नहीं कर रहे, आप ही कर लीजिए।
आपने यही बोल के 30 सेकंड ले लिए।
18%, एक सेकंड, अरे नहीं, 18% जो हमारे किसान जीडीपी, किसान की कमाई में जीडीपी का हिस्सा है। जीडीपी जो हमारी है 18% किसान का होता है। और किसान के ऊपर क्या होता है? आप धन्ना सेठों को लोन माफ हो जाते हैं और किसान को 1000, 2000, 10,000, 5,000 लोन के लिए परेशान होना पड़ता है। यह देश का दुर्भाग्य है। लाखों करोड़ रुपए किसानों, हमारे जो धन्ना सेठ हैं, उनके बट्टे खाते में डाल दिए जाएंगे, लेकिन किसान बेचारा 10,000, 20,000,
आनंद रंगनाथन, when Anurag Bhadoria says that the opposition is being asked questions, not the government, whose fault is that? That the opposition is not being able to pin down the government, whose fault is it? Is it the government's fault? Is it Narendra Modi's fault that the opposition is not being able to pin him down? Number one. Number two, जो पार्टी गायत्री प्रजापति को बताती आई है, वो सवाल पूछ रही है आज महिलाओं के बारे में। पूछना चाहिए, सबको पूछना चाहिए, लेकिन isn't it a little bit hypocritical, Anand Ranganathan?
दिल्ली की महिला,
थैंक यू अनुराग जी,
आपके पास जवाब ही नहीं होता है।
अनुराग जी प्लीज आप वेट करिए, मैं 20 मिनट से वेट कर रहा हूँ।
अंकिता भंडारी याद कर लीजिएगा, और नहीं अंकिता भंडारी याद कर लीजिएगा,
नाविका,
अनुराग भदौरिया जी, प्लीज डोंट फोर्स मी टू लोअर योर फेडर, प्लीज डोंट फोर्स मी टू लोअर योर फेडर। अनुराग जी, आई हैव कॉल्ड आउट आनंद रंगनाथन, अब उन्हें बोलने दीजिए।
अत्याचार तो है नाविका जी, इसमें कोई बुराई नहीं है।
क्या चल रहा है नाविका? Can I please have my say? Yes, thank you. First of all, to my dear friend Sanjay, who quite rightly said that when the Prime Minister quoted or exhorted others to quote this figure of "Ab ki baar 400 par" and all that, he's saying one should not patronize the Indian public and predict what's going to happen in the election. This is a tweet by my dear friend Sanjay Jha. I don't know if you can read it. Let me read it out for you. In 2013, a year before the election, said, please save this tweet. Congress will be the single largest party in 2014 and will lead a coalition comfortably above the majority. It's great that Sanjay still hasn't deleted that tweet. That speaks oodles about his confidence.
Again, man.
Now, one second, Sanjay, please.
Well,
Navika, I was just trying to prove.
At that, yes, you proved your point, Anand Ranganathan. You proved your point. Sorry. 1-0 at this point, Sanjay Jha. Okay.
No, don't keep count. It's going to be 5-0 very soon. No, as far as the question that you asked me, let me answer you directly. Navika, I have said it before and I say it again. Modi is blessed with the opposition that is have. Because for all the decisions that Modi has taken in the last 10 years in national interest, the opposition has ranted and raved against them. And for all the decisions that Modi has taken against national interests, the opposition has supported him. You want to take just two examples. Abhi, And in fact, I think, a significant segment, if I may, I'm not trying to patronize you, but please devote it to the outrageous statement just made an hour ago by the Congress on the floor of the House, doubting again the Balakot airstrike. It is shocking and unacceptable for him to quote verbatim from Wikipedia and dubious claims saying that our armed forces were unsuccessful. The devastation was not of any significance. Again and again, they dispute what has happened and what has been verified by our own armed forces. That is doubting what the Modi government did and what our armed forces did valiantly. That is shocking and unacceptable. And as for the statement that I made, and I stick by it, all the decisions that Modi has taken against national interest, the opposition supports him. Let me give you, Anurag ji abhi keh rahe hain कि देखिए farm bill, anti-black farm bills थे. मैं इनको बता दूं, I hope I won't be interrupted, that point number 11 and point number 19 of the Congress 2019 manifesto, as well as the Punjab Contract Farming Act, all the 3 farm laws were there verbatim in the Congress manifesto and in the manifesto of all the opposition parties. In fact, they were more draconian than what Modi did. Modi at least gave a choice of having an APMC and having a private market. Congress said it's going to do away with APMC. What about Mr. Anurag Bhadoria? Are you saying that you'd support the Congress in doing away with APMC? Then say so clearly right now.
Well, clearly those questions have gone unanswered by the opposition, and somewhere or the other, the Prime Minister has gone, and he has gone very scientifically in every term that he's had, whether it is the women's reservation bill, whether it is Article 370, whether it is the Ram Mandir issue. Tausif, the record can be seen from Swachh Bharat, talking from toilets and cleaning up India, as basic as that, right up to the fact that there has been encouragement given to ISRO and other organizations to put India there on the world map. You can't. I'm not saying that 100% every problem in this country has been resolved and everybody is happy and there's nothing more to do. Of course not. We are a large country, we have large diversity, and we have a huge number of problems. But the fact is that we've moved ahead far more in these 10 years than we have in the previous governments in previous decades. Tausif, the world is watching this. People of India, therefore, are voting for Modi. What is the opposition doing? What can you account for? You can't even get yourselves together in a row, get your ducks in a row.
Navika, I agree that all of the problems could not be solved, and at any given point of time there will always be some problem. But it is so insulting from the Prime Minister to keep quiet and not talk about Manipur. Manipur does not matter to him? The people, the state is still burning, people are losing their life. That does not matter to him because it is only a matter of a couple of parliamentarian seats, which he does not count in his 370 that he was talking about today. Is that not an insult? Are people of India not watching it? Will people of India not take that into account? Does this suit for the Prime Minister to keep shut on such a sensitive issue of Manipur, which is still burning? Does it suit? Please also see, he has not spoken about the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, which we call MNREGA in short form. What does it do? This act guarantees a 100-day employment or a wage when no employment is provided. What has happened to that? More than 21 lakh workers from Bengal has not been paid their dues in last 2 years. Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has met the Prime Minister. The delegation from Trinamool Party has met the Union Home Minister. Chief Minister has sat in the dharna last year. She is sitting in the dharna now. Still not a word from the Prime Minister on that.
Dharnas are fine. Dharnas are fine, but if you watched the interview I did with the Finance Minister, she has clarified She has said
What
that she will
guarantees
not
was
give
Modi
money
providing?
when the CAG has found objections, when names of schemes are changed, when they are being given to fraudulent people. She has given all the reasons on why these funds have not been forwarded. But when you talk about Manipur, Suhail said, should the question not also be asked of the opposition that the Prime Minister fielded his most able Home Minister to answer the question on Manipur? Did the opposition even allow the Home Minister to utter a word in Parliament? Can they now turn around and say Prime Minister hasn't spoken about it? The government was keen, the Home Minister was keen to answer. They did not allow him to answer. Now, to put the point back in the Prime Minister's court, is this just opportunistic politics at one level? And is the opposition once again missing the big picture? Are they targeting the Prime Minister on issues that will not stick to him? And are they forgetting their own strategies, which they should have had written in stone by this time? Because, I don't know, maybe in the next 3 or 4 weeks, elections will be announced.
So to quote a television panelist, you must allow me time without interruption and give me extra time as well. I totally agree with Tausif. In my mind, the Prime Minister should have spoken about Manipur, but I'm not the Prime Minister. I think when the Prime Minister speaks on multifarious issues on various subjects, to speak on Manipur would have been important, but that's his call. He's the Prime Minister, not me, not Tausif, not Sanjay. Having said that, the optics of the opposition is the optics that India doesn't want. India does not want a divisive opposition which will thwart the progress that India is seemingly on. There is no question, Navika, that Narendra Modi, because of him being the lone wolf, being the driver of this government, has been able to push through a lot of progressive initiatives which otherwise wouldn't have happened. Please understand, and I wrote about this last week when I said SOLE, the sole wolf. Let's go back in time. You remember Vajpayee ji was hemmed in by the 3 ladies at that point in time, Mayawati, Jayalalitha, and Mamata Banerjee. And at that time, coalition dharma was always, offered as the succor. Didn't work. Number 2, the opposition today brings out its fissures and warts on its own. For Mamata Banerjee to get into a diatribe that day against the Congress tells you how united the opposition is. So they are not united at all. Akhilesh Yadav, who I have a lot of time for, Akhilesh Yadav says, hame kabhi bulate, kabhi nahi bulate. Now, Akhilesh Yadav was an ally, is an ally of the India bloc for a long, long time. So while I agree on, Sanjay's spirited defense of the Congress, in fact, the Congress is so stupid that Sanjay Jha has been defending the Congress without any role, and poor chap has been suspended. The first thing they should do is take him back with flying colors. He's the only person who's defending the party repeatedly. Now, one of the points that Sanjay made is that the Prime Minister is engaging in dialoguing of a particular kind. Of course he will. Today's speech, Sanjay and all the other panelists, whether you like it or not, oratorially was superb. What was the response? As Anand Ranganathan very rightly said, the response was to touch the nerves of every Indian by saying that Balakot didn't actually happen and that our forces were at fault. The problem is that the opposition is scoring self-goals every day, and Narendra Modi is charting a completely different course. In traditional marketing parlance, he has changed the battleground. He's not fighting on the same battleground that Rahul Gandhi and all are. With all the respect that I have for the opposition leaders, Rahul Gandhi is an activist, not a politician. He's happy addressing 120 people at Oxford. Narendra Modi is a politician and not an activist. He's happy addressing 1.2 million people if he can and if he will. The reality is that they are talking at cross purposes. You do not have an opposition in India that speaks in one voice on one issue with one level of clarity. That's the problem. The biggest problem to my mind strategically was to even announce India. When they announced the India bloc, that was, to my mind, the biggest mistake. Because individual parties would have retained their identity without being subsumed by one overarching entity. You saw what Mamata Banerjee said. She says, who are these people? They can't fight Modi in Varanasi. They can't fight Modi, and they are trying to teach me. So each person's ego is now being pricked for all the right reasons, because you treat them as if you were the entitled person and the rest don't matter. You cannot have a divided opposition taking on a united Modi. As simple as that.
Respond, Sanjay Jha, and then I'm coming to you, Shehzad.
Please.
Navika, I'm not going to disagree with Suhail at all on the fact that the India alliance has struggled. Absolutely. I have personally been very vocal about it, that the Congress should have demonstrated greater leadership as the principal fulcrum of the party and made sure that they looked formidable to take on the BJP. The point I wish to make, because Mr. Modi has made statements about, India is going to become the third largest economy. He doesn't tell you the truth. He does so much of cherry picking, the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister must realize there are parameters like the per capita income, where India is at a miserable over 140 or 190 countries. Mr. Modi, it is not just about Mr. Ratan Tata or Mr. Abandi or Mr. Adani. India has people who are farmers, who are middle class, who are small businessmen, who are workers, who are entrepreneurs, who are students. Please take care of them. Stop thinking about in India 1%, by the 1%, for the 1%. And
Shehzad Poonawala countering you, Sanjay Jha. Sanjay Jha, you're almost talking as if all of these people came up only during the last 10 years and they didn't exist before that. But Shehzad Poonawala, respond.
Go ahead.
And I have an answer on Balakot. I have an answer on Balakot because the statement on Balakot
since
was
this
made by
panel
the
has,
Indian
Navika,
1 minute, Sanjay. No, Sanjay, wait for your turn. Shehzad is responding and then I'll come back.
I'm requesting you for just 5 seconds. Ajay Bisaria, the former Indian High Commissioner to Pakistan, and I'm quoting him, we have narratives but no proof on Balakot's success. I don't think you can blame the Congress for saying anything. These are coming from people who are there in Pakistan. He's the former Indian High Commissioner to Pakistan, for heaven's sake.
Shehzad.
May I continue, Navika, now,
Shehzad,
with your permission? Thank you. Navika, I'm glad that we have Anand Ranganathan on this panel, and therefore with somebody who has all the facts on his hand. What was the per capita income of India in 2014 and what is the per capita of India today? It has doubled. What was the Gini coefficient of India in 2014? 0.47. And today the Gini coefficient, which measures income inequality, is 0.40. By any stretch of imagination, the inequality as per the Gini coefficient has decreased, the per capita has increased, the number of people paying taxes and the number of people who are paying taxes in the lowest bracket going to the above bracket by 35%, which means incomes have increased. 13.5 crore people have been taken out of poverty in last 5 years. Out of multi-dimensional poverty, 25 crore people have been taken out of poverty. And now tell me, is the country more poorer after 4 crore houses are built for poor? After 12 crore toilets are given to them, which results in saving of 70,000 rupees per annum? After Jan Aushadhi Kendras are established, which basically cuts down the cost of medicine by 100 to 200%. After 50 crore people get Ayushman Bharat cover of 5 lakh rupees, which means they don't have to spend a single rupee on health expenses if they have to go for tertiary care. So are people going to be poorer or less poorer? Anyways, that is not the discussion. The discussion today is that now they have come back to Balakot and they quoted some book. In that same book, what has been written about the return of wing commander? The fact of the matter is that Pakistan was scared to death and therefore they returned the wing commander. That narrative you don't want to believe.
Well,
and the fact of the matter is also this, that the armed forces of this country have come out and said surgical strike and Balakot airstrike achieve what was designed as the purpose, but they want to doubt the armed forces because for them undermining the manobel of armed forces and questioning armed forces because they want to question Modi has become part and parcel
absolutely.
of
They did this before the previous elections. They're doing it now again. Talk of self-goals and Anand Ranganathan, when you talk of self-goals, well, instead of getting an alliance together and instead of improving the alignment as the Prime Minister called it, they're once again on their self-goal trip. Is this how they're going to challenge Modi? Well, I don't know. You the viewer, you the voters of India will be the judge. But clearly, Narendra Modi is pulling no punches. He's put the numbers from the floor of the parliament up there for everybody to watch. Now, is that arrogance or is that confidence? Well, people of India will decide. Thank you very much to all my panelists for joining me.